Welcome to What the Group Chat Say, the podcast where the group chat finally got a mic. We're three friends in our 40s talking about life, friendships, relationships, and everything we didn't see coming in this decade. I'm Bonnie, here with Keya and Drea. Now, let's rewind it back to episode 2, where we discussed Keya on the hot seat talking about her divorces. Now, episode 2, we focused on the first divorce mainly and briefly touched upon the second one. So now we're going to go further into the second and all the other lessons that Keya learned.
Yeah, let's talk about divorce.
Yeah.
Let's back up.
Wait.
Let's back up to who I call Voldemort.
Oh,
Let's talk about
Oh God. Now,
divorce number 1.
it threw me off because I haven't heard it verbally, usually in a text. So it just kind of threw me off. It threw me off.
Voldemort, baby. What do we want to know about Voldemort?
So we talked about, he married young.
Yes.
I think young, right? I think
We
now that
did.
we're older, anything
Girl, I got married at
under 30 is
what?
married young.
22 or 24? Yeah, that was young. Hell yeah. So it was. Honestly, I would have kept going and going with it until it started messing with my mental. Like he was just doing dumb shit. Like to fuck with me personally, just with everything that I had been through growing up. Like he would do shit to fuck with my traumas, And
I remember you saying that
right
years ago.
Okay,
right? Before you decided, I remember that.
And so it was like, okay, what the hell? Like, grow up, stop doing this. So then from there, it went from, okay, you're not gonna stop. Then we both just started cheating. It's like, okay, then fuck it. Like, cool.
So wait a minute, you cheated? Hold on, you cheated?
Yeah,
Girl,
I didn't know that.
I think I do, but I think I probably didn't. I probably just kept. I used to go out all the time, so yeah, I'm minding my business.
Okay.
But was it before
this was
or
pretty
after?
much over. Y'all were just married.
I was cheating while I was still in the house, though. So
but he had already been cheating.
Yes, but he was trying to hide it. It was just me at that point, like, oh, you think I'm dumb, so now I'm not trying to hide it. We all, because if you could do it, I do it better, right? So that's where my mindset was.
So when you now, let's just say now, being older and knowing that you guys had a marriage that at any point prior to this, did you guys think about going to counseling or have a conversation about like what you guys are feeling or going through, or what's like, did you, because this is about like then, of course, now things may be different as we get older, but I'm just wondering, like, as a young marriage with children, back then when mental health and counseling was not a big thing, right?
Right.
Did you ever think about marriage counseling or feel like there was an option to talk about this? Before it got bad as it did.
I feel like we knew about counseling, but seeking it was not like top priority. Like it was just, okay, we can talk about this, or I can take it to my pastor. And back then I was in a Sunday church, but it was like, oh, we can take
But okay, so stop there. You say take it to your pastor.
Yeah.
And I know, you've always had your religious beliefs, but taking something like that to your pastor, would that have been a questionable feeling due to the fact of judgment?
I wouldn't have thought back then it would have been a questionable feeling of judgment, but I've also long held the belief that, yes, you can give me stuff scripturally to like work through what we need to work through, but giving us tools to equip ourselves to talk, like this is me now talking, as well back then, I still felt like you can't give me the tools that I need to actually put this into play. So I've always been the one to been like, okay, yeah, we could go talk to the pastor, but we still need a counselor. But back then, it was just in our young mind, it was probably just we can talk through this or we'll work through this. It's just a fight. And
So I like that you said that, only because I know it's kind of off topic, but it's not, because I just feel like this could help other people, because this is how we really talk, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to have to say that it makes me happy to hear you say that, because I know your belief system and how your belief in God and the Bible and how it goes, how that really takes a core on your decision making. That will come up more when we talk about your next divorce. But I say this to say that I'm going to say that some of the most challenging people that I have worked with, whether it's in a group session, a counseling session, working on their goals or their triggers or helping them make changes or seeing issues going on in their life, are oftentimes my people of religious beliefs.
I believe
And
that.
some of them truly feel that they can talk to their pastor. I mean, there are some pastors out there with counseling degrees, psychology, social work, but like you said, a lot of the stuff is based on the Bible scriptures. So that I just wanted to throw that out there, because sometimes, like you said, you need the tools, like you need to be able to work through some stuff and not just base it on, like you said, the tools.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I always long held as something that I knew, but back then, like, yeah, I guess it just counted as being young and dumb of not chasing it, because the emotional roller coaster that soon followed after, like, it was for real divorced, and seeing my boys walk through the divorce is like, damn, I should have figured that out. But hindsight is 2020, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, ooh. But it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. It's what I definitely
Oh,
believe.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And so I would suppose that when you knew it was done, it was just because you had no more fight in you, and the whole caring of what was going on in life with that particular person was just obsolete.
yeah,
Did you say?
yeah. That's what it's,
Yeah.
oh,
So now we fast forward. So how is now dating post that? Because that just sounds like a very trauma-filled relationship, especially towards the end.
girl.
And now you had young kids.
Yeah.
So how are you navigating that? Because I'm sure, just knowing you, you weren't like introducing them to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
No. And that was the thing. That's why I didn't really date after that. Like, I met some people. I had my little stint on POS. I met one motherfucker and left that shit alone. And then I met somebody out here in Santan. But again, like you said, my kids never seen them, never met them. And then I went back into the people I already knew. So I ended up just back with the person I was messing with. And that's how it was. Like, I did it because I did have young kids, and I could not introduce them to new people. Like, it just wasn't in me. Our mama was like, you can't have all these men around your kids. So I didn't. I ended up with the person that I married for my second marriage.
And now, how long was that in between when you got divorced and then you met your former husband?
I knew my former husband the whole time. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But the time,
Now, knew him in that way, yeah, or you guys just kind of like ran around the same circles? Or...
no, we didn't run around the same circles at all. Like, I met him at the club like a couple of weeks before I was supposed to marry Voldemort.
Okay.
And so, yeah, mm, that kicked off. And then we left each other alone for a long while because he got married. I was getting married. And then he got divorced. I was still married. So we still didn't really see each other, but then we started seeing each other at like the time me and Voldemort was So yeah, we started cheating. I will say I started cheating because he was divorced. I wasn't yet. So yeah, that's how that went. I knew him the whole time.
Right. So then what made this one different, right? Because with your sensitivity about having men around your kids where you were like, okay, I see this as something different or special. Was it when you got into your new religion, or how did that kind of play in with you?
So I'll have long held that um the second husband was somebody I fell in love with at like first sight. I don't know how it happened. Maybe it was the fact that we were both from Chicago that I don't know what it was, but I loved that man since like first meeting him, and it was crazy. So I've always said that he was my soulmate. And um then it was I don't we hung out at Kiwanis. Like we had a part where we brought both our children to the park, and it was just kind of like, okay, let's see this. Like, and it just clicked. And so he was so amazing with the kids and like so amazing. So it was like, okay, this was good. And how I made that jump um to say that okay, he can meet the kids. I don't even remember when. I think it was probably on one of these mini moons of like, okay, well, I'm doing this for real with you. Um, it's about time you meet the kids. I mean, of course, years have elapsed, but it jumped into okay, we can meet each other's children. Um, and we kind of went from there, and then we broke up. Hilarious. We broke up, didn't talk for like 5 5 or 6 years. How long was it, Drea? Yeah, I think it was about like it was 5 to 6 years. We just broke up. Like, didn't talk. But he would still see the kids. So the kids would still go spend the night at his house. His kids would still come to my house, but we just would not talk. And then 6 years later, we started talking. We went to counseling, and this is where the counseling came in. Like, we went to counseling because there was so much stuff that went on, like, while we were together. Like, in hindsight, looking back now, him and I should have never gotten married. Even with the counseling and stepping into the word, because him and I were so fucking toxic. Like, but it was just, oh my God, I love you so much that I hate you. And we thought counseling would, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're good. Like, the kids went through the counseling with us. We asked the kids for permission. Like, if we get back together, we're gonna be better, this and that, and da 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 da. And we were good. And then we stepped into the word together. And it was like, okay, cool, it's good. But hindsight looking back, I split my I always flip my thought from this is who we were and we're not that anymore, like especially in the realms of like, oh, we cheated and we did this, we did that. Um, I flipped that switch, like, okay, that's not us anymore. He never flipped that switch. So for me, I never thought about it, you know, like, okay, because that's not who we are. And then,
This is before marriage, right? This
yes.
is before marriage.
So before marriage, it like, you know, even when we were going in counseling, it was just like, oh, huh?
Who found the um who found the religion of choice at this moment?
We both did. Like, so before we broke up, we were sitting down, like his friend was like, yo, like y'all ever just read the Bible, like, and then listen to what
Oh, you
your,
know what? I remember kind of that because I
yeah,
remember when that started, I went to that person's place in Tempe
yeah,
and he was speaking about
yeah.
religion and I was like, we just like came from the club or going to the club. Like, come on
Right.
now.
Yep. And so that's what it was. And so like we continued marching down that path like back then, but it was like, oh, okay, like, oh damn, that's like, oh, damn, the Bible say that. Like I've been in church my whole life and never read that. Then so like, we started that back then and like we were slowly just walking into it. And then we broke up, but we both kept it, you know what I'm saying? Like we both, unbeknownst to each other, was still marching that path and just like, oh, okay. So then when we got back together, it was like, oh damn, okay, we've been doing this, so then we're gonna do it. Like we need to do it. And we just went on into it like, okay, this is it. This is what we doing. And it it's where it was until it wasn't. And we just was like, oh, okay. Um his issues were always there, I would have to admit, but I ignored it because I loved him. And at this point, we had already gotten married, and the Bible says no divorce unless cheating. And I hadn't cheated, he hadn't cheated, so we had no choice but to work it out. Like I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna work it out. Like whatever this is, we're gonna figure it out. We gotta go back to counseling. We're gonna work it out. And yeah, we didn't work that shit out.
So, what do you think now? I mean, there were two different reasons, kind of. I guess from his perspective, maybe the
Right,
same
but
reason
the
why you
same
got
reason.
divorced, according to him. Although you were not unfaithful in your second marriage.
No.
Although, right. So, what do you think ultimately you've learned about yourself? I mean, going through this twice and, dating, and because you said here the issues that he had that ultimately led to probably how he framed everything up and that
You
led to this divorce were always there and you ignored them.
Yep.
So maybe you
So,
won't.
what I learned is see the red flag, leave that bitch on the field, and walk the fuck away. That's what I've learned. Um, a red flag is a red flag is a red motherfucking flag, y'all. Don't think that you can change the red flag to green. It ain't gonna happen. I don't care how much love you pour
What
into
if you are
somebody.
the red flag?
You said
But what
what
if you
happened?
are the red flag? What if you are the red flag?
Then go get
Like what
motherfucking
I
help.
mean, you can't leave yourself. They
Go
they
get
have to
help.
they have to leave you.
Right. They have to leave you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you know what I mean? Like, what if you are the one giving off the red flag and they just need to give you a little minute?
Well, okay, but what's a
No,
little
they don't need to
minute?
give you a minute. They need to leave you alone till you're ready.
Right. Because what's a little
4 years
minute?
of George. 4 years of George.
But I tried to tell
Nah.
George to go because I knew I
We
was
just
healing.
not gonna talk about this today, but you and I had this conversation a
We
few
did
times.
a few
And
times.
remember, my belief system is Words and actions must match. Just because we say one thing, if our actions show different, it causes confusion within ourselves because we're uncertain, which then causes confusion on the other person.
Yeah.
So with
We did.
that, we won't talk about that situation, I don't think, today.
Nah. Oh, we
But
might.
but
If I'm in the hot
so
seat, I'm in the hot seat.
kinda
But
safe, but you know, I feel that, I don't know, as your friend and watch you going through this, you've grown a lot. And as we all have, just because of life within itself, right? So yeah, it's gonna get interesting, guys. What do you think?
I mean, for sure. I mean, your life is interesting in the real group chat. We might have to
Life is
bring some stuff out, right?
man, being the single life is not for the weak, guys. Situationships are not for the weak, guys. Not at all. The
Can't even
only,
imagine. So
I think some of the biggest differences between me and you guys is you guys actually jumped in, you know what I'm saying? And said, fuck it, I'm gonna try. Or I'm always like, not sure, not sure, not sure if I trust my own judgment yet, you know, to continue.
absolutely
yeah.
to
Because I
continue.
think because I think that at the age Keya was rolling up on her husband like that, I think that I would have been in prison.
Listen,
We know. We
Right.
know you would have been in prison.
we
So
know.
and you know, and so that's, you know, just to kind of put out there, that's one of the reasons why I haven't tried to live with anyone or be married, or because yeah, if I act right in some,
You still think at this age you would act like that? And you were faced with that same situation she was still today?
um I you know, I have this conversation with quite often, right? And I think quite
Yeah.
often because I've had to evaluate myself. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, why do you live by yourself? Why are you single?" And we'll get into that like in another segment. But I've been through
Right.
domestic violence and I have been arrested twice from domestic violence. And yes, was I young? Absolutely. Um, but the second time made me realize that I'm real life can snap. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
although I work through that often, all the time, just with sometimes I just want to cuss people out on a daily. Not because I'm not a nice person. It's just that sometimes people say some shit where I just be like, oh, you know, I'm way better at that. I've been through so much counseling. I teach anger management and how to control your emotions and your triggers. So I do try to avoid that. But I can't say wholeheartedly that if I was to live with a man or decide to marry him, especially at the age that I am, that if he did me like that when he could have just left me how we were, I don't know if I have full confidence in myself that I may not pull a zap or something. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't
Yeah.
promise you I may not at least taser him. I would hope that I wouldn't, because in the
Damn,
past,
not the
over the
taser.
well, I mean, you know, I don't want to incriminate myself. No one trusts me to have a gun, but you know, yeah, I can because I live alone right now. But what I'm saying is that I'm just such that cool person where I just leave me where I'm at. If our relationship is dysfunctional and we're don't live together and we're not married and it's dysfunctional, it's dysfunctional. That I can deal with because that is what I can control. Is I'm only going to be so invested. But if I wholeheartedly invest and I trust and I walk into something, I don't do well being emotionally hurt. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I think the only reason I would not possibly flip is for the simple fact that I've had domestic violence. I know where I'm going. So I might end up doing the opposite, which is a complete shutdown, like complete shutdown,
Yeah.
which is probably safer for me and everybody else, right? I have experienced that after dealing with domestic violence where I just completely shut down because I don't want to engage or interact, right? But that's a controllable emotion. I don't know that at the age that I'm at, I've waited this long, that if someone says, let's live together or let's get married, and I say yes, and I find out they cheating, I don't know. I can't honestly say. Like I said, I may sound crazy, guys, but I'm very honest, and I'm trained in this. I'm I have to say
You just
that
don't know if you can maintain control.
yes, I would hope that I can. I would hope that I
Yeah.
can. But I feel that that ultimate heartbreak, I don't like
Mhm.
to feel that, which is why I control my own heartbreaks. It may not seem like it to everybody, but I really do. I always know where something's going based off of my actions and theirs, whether I choose to stay in it or not or deal with it. I know what I can tolerate and deal with, and I know that that is like I often choose the ones that I know it's never going to go too much further than what I need to be because I get scared, right? And that's just the honest thing. And so I don't know. I really don't. I would hope that I wouldn't, but I also would hope that I wouldn't have to even think or feel that that would even happen just because of how old I am,
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yep.
but I do
Yeah.
make it very clear when I talk to someone or I date them, like, listen, I'm cool as hell. I'm cool as fuck. But if you make the boundaries like this, you lay the rules like this, and then if you want to cross it to this, you know what I'm saying? Just know that they're like we have to we you have to understand, like you have to understand, you know? Like there
Yeah.
we have to be able to have that conversation or so yeah. But I'm late in the game though. I'm really when it comes to even wanting to like marry. And I know all
Right.
that comes, you know what I'm saying? So that was not my life. That was not I wasn't a little girl who was like, "Oh, I can't wait to get married. Oh, I want a family." That was never my dream or life until, I started getting older. And even then, sometimes just the other day, someone asked me, "Well, would you really want to get married?" Because I was joking around. I was like, "Well, maybe next year I'll have a husband, I'll pay half of my bills." And they're like, "Well, do you really want to get married?" And part of me wanted to say, "Yeah, wouldn't we want to?" But the other part of me was like, "Oh, I don't, I don't know. I don't know, So
Right.
I'm still kind of, I'm special.
Yeah. I want to.
Like, what are you looking for? Like a person? Are you looking to get married again? Um,
Um. So here's where I am. So to put a period in the second marriage. Um.
yeah.
I want y'all. I ain't gonna even hold y'all in suspense. No, I did not cheat. I did
Yeah.
lie to the man. Yeah. And what resulted after that lie, baby, that man went 5150 miles north of what actually happened, um, which actually took some whole other drama. We'll get into that in one of these other episodes. But now I learned my lesson from the first one, so I did not cheat. Um, and the marriage ended as a result of his actions about the lie that I told him. Um
It's not just that. I mean, we'll save that for
yeah,
another
right,
time
right. It's
because
gonna that we'll get into we gonna get
I just feel
into
that
it.
I feel like the lie doesn't even need to be revealed on this show for now.
Right.
Um,
Right.
because
But
I feel
I just
that
want
yeah, but when you talk more about why that ended, I
yeah,
think it should focus more on the disconnect, the lack of
absolutely.
emotional stance, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Absolutely.
reason.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no, no.
because
No, absolutely. I just wanted them to know, like, oh, so she just a habitual cheater. No. No. I grew up, I learned my
no, she didn't
lesson
cheat at all. Not
at
even
all.
close.
Even not
No,
even.
no cheating.
Not even. So I just wanted the audience to know, like, nah, like I ain't going around like, oh yeah, like that ain't me. Never been me. But that I just want them to know, like, nah, I wasn't a cheating situation to put a period at the end of that. Because I can show foresee that person hearing this and be like, listen. So anyway, do I want to get married again? Yes, absolutely. Why? Because y'all know the Bible says sex is for married people, and y'all know y'all girl been over here sex free for 4 years. So I do want to get married. But
Let's take religion out of it. Let's take religion out of it. If you
yeah,
didn't have your faith, would you want to get married again?
yeah, I still want to get married again. Absolutely. Like
No.
I do want to have that one person that I could just come home to. And then when I get fat and ugly and all of that,
Does
like
that have to be marriage?
that
I mean,
does
for
that
your
have
religious beliefs, yes. But I'm saying, let's if we took that out, like, do you guys feel that there's people who are together 20, 30, 40 years, not cheating on each other, not married, but live together, houses in the same, each other's names, bank accounts, life insurance. Like, do you feel that people often get married because of society, what society says or thinks, or religious beliefs versus just wanting to be together without it being like on paper?
I
Just
do
wondering.
feel
'Cause there's
no, I
people
do
out
feel
there.
like a lot of
I mean,
people get
I
married.
think there's some of that, but
Yeah. I believe like there's people that do that, but I think now most of us have grown up to the past the point of I don't need to do what society tells me to do. Like I feel like most of us are there cuz for me all of this can be in our names, you know what I'm saying? Like we can cohabitate whatever like you said like if they're buying houses together and doing this, but at the end of the day for me, it's that piece of paper that everybody's like, oh, it's only a piece of paper. But it's that piece of paper that says, you can't make this decision outside of me and this man. Like, me and this man have done this. I'm his wife. I'm his next of kin. I'm
But
this. So,
but paperwork can take that away from you as a wife. It doesn't matter if you're married. If you're married, they can still delegate a financial power of attorney for them if they cannot talk, and it does not have to be a wife. They can delegate who makes their medical decisions, and it doesn't have to be a wife. Once it's legally on a form, that supersedes any.
yeah, but that would be a separate thing. I mean, but
exactly.
default it is.
By default, it is. Right. He would
Yeah,
have to,
But I get that. Default, I get that.
married,
Of course.
yeah, married, and now default it's his parents, and they can shut you out.
right. And that's the thing. Like by default, it's like if something was to happen and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen it. Somebody with somebody for,
I'm just trying to conversation. I see it all the time. So you're right.
yeah. So it's like, and for that, hell no, I'm your missus. We gonna get this together now. If you decide outside of this or that and you making decisions outside of me, then that's a whole nother issue that we now have to discuss. Because what are you talking about? Like, I would think that we're together and I would make the best decision that I feel you would want to be made and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't feel like nah that outside like that outsider we just cohabitating wouldn't work for me. Cause nah. I bet you better not near nobody coming here and talking about
I feel though that you've always been like a
I
relationship
have
person
been.
though
Yep.
anyway. I feel like you like being in a relationship, not anything ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like you usually aren't afraid of commitment or anything like
Nope.
that.
Not at all. So yeah. I ain't,
You got
On the other end of that spectrum,
I admire people like her who have gotten divorced but yet still open to love and not closed off.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I admire that. I admire anyone like that. I'm like that, just so people know, I'm like that low-key hopeless romantic and cheer on all relationships, but I'm like good with what I'm doing right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I definitely am a cheerleader
Well,
for it because I respect it.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of divorced people who were like never again.
Yeah.
Right? There's like one and done or two and done. But he has always been like an optimistically, I want to be in a serious relationship type person to me,
Always.
even when
I
we were
mean, a
kids.
lot of
Always.
I meet a lot of second I meet a lot of people on their second and third marriages that have lasted longer than the first.
Yes.
You know, don't have kids.
Yeah.
But you know, I've also been a really strong believer that I never wanted to be with someone because we had kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like people
Mhm.
who start off without children and love each other and enjoy each other, then they have children and then their children go off again, you know, because they go away. I see a lot of those people very successful, I think, because they had their fun together, right? Then they had their fun as family, and then they had their fun without their kids again. I'm not saying that it makes a difference, but you kind of know if someone truly loves you and only you if there's nothing else that obligates them to, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. That definitely makes sense. And that is and that's a good point too, because like, you have to evaluate people and see people, you know what I'm saying? Or see them in all different aspects and different lights. So yeah, without kids, and you get to know that, oh, okay, it's just me and this person. So do you love me for me and not because we got some people with both our DNA running through them?
Now I have seen a lot of successful relationships where they had kids first and
Oh,
still together
absolutely.
20 years later, and I'm sure that they had, you know, their battles, because all relationships actually just take a lot of work, communication, trust, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, loyalty,
Yeah.
but it definitely takes a lot of work. I don't know. I've talked to people who are like, oh, it's eating. I have the pleasure of talking to people who been married 70 years, 60 years, 50 years, you know? And a lot of them is like, sometimes you just want to beat their ass.
Right.
Sometimes you want to cuss them out, but you learn to go the other direction, or
Hell
you learn
yeah.
to wait, or you know, it easy, or you give each other space, or you know,
Yeah.
we ain't talked in a few weeks, stuff like that. Like to me, it reminds me of like that sibling relationship. It's like no matter what you guys go through, you know that your brother or sister and you love them to death. And sometimes you just need not to talk for a few
That
days. You know
for
what
a
I'm
few
saying?
moments, right? Leave me the hell
Yeah.
alone.
Oh,
Like, and that's
wow.
it.
Right. But you know, you
Found a few days.
can't run away. You know, you can't just run away. Well, I mean, nowadays you can, but I'm just saying, like, I'm giving an example. Like, you know, when you're young,
Yeah.
you can't just run away.
Like that definitely, you definitely cannot.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely work. It's definitely patience. I feel like though, at least for me, I think it's also more of learning about yourself over and over again the longer you're married, because you finally learn. I mean, you can't change another person. So you have to draw your own boundaries and things like that of what you will and won't put up with, and how that kind of manifests itself with somebody that you've committed to spending the rest of your life with. So that's different. And that was a lot of, some lessons that my husband and I have learned and worked through. But yeah, if we can get to the marriage topic. I just think the single life, it's more, we're just on one day and it's the same thing every day. So I like hearing about what you guys are going through more.
But that's like Bonnie, like for real though. Like I know you like hearing ours, but the crazy thing is I've always wanted. Well, with Voldemort, before I got married to Voldemort, I could say I was one of them chicks that was like, I know I want kids, but I didn't necessarily see it in a marriage. So I wasn't really, but then by the time we
Yeah.
were in it, my goal was like, oh shit, this is it. We're it. So like I look at your marriage and I'm like, fuck, that's what I was striving for. Like all these years,
Just married, no kids.
right. Listen, well, I love my boys. But
Right.
it was I just was like, damn, I couldn't even make that shit fucking work. But I want the mundane, like coming home, just like my person is there. I wanted that. So like, girl,
Yeah.
listen, because no, what this shit is right now, uh-uh. Yeah. And I just said, like, I told George, literally, although I want to be in a relationship, y'all know I'm scared as fuck. And now I'm met with wanting to be in a relationship, scared to be in a relationship, but now also going back into having to consider somebody else. Cause now I'm just
Gosh, that right there.
listen.
That's the
That's
bar.
the
I
like
mean, listen, I ain't had to be married. I had a child, and every day the stress of having to get home. I mean, I know having a husband is different than a child, but like now, if I want to stop on the way home and grab something, I can. I don't have to worry about if I pick that up right away if it
right.
matters. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I don't have to worry about
Mhm.
asking permission if I want to go out with my friends.
Listen.
Like, so even though having someone around is really nice, but like sometimes I don't want to be responsible for myself.
Yep. Yep. I just and
Culturally, people are like, oh, you don't have to do that. There's a lot of men that cook, but I understand all of that. But culturally, for me, how I seen my mother and how I was raised, a lot of those things that I would need to have to do because I feel like that's what I would need to do in a relationship.
yep.
Sometimes I like just not to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I feel you because that's exactly where I'm at. Like I know, like I get it, but seeing what my mama do to stay in her marriage, and of course I tried to model myself after that. So that's so ingrained in me. So oh girl, I get you because that's how I am. Like damn, and I don't want to go back into that, especially now standing firm on my boundaries, standing firm in who I am, not letting that waver just because I'm in love. And then to think about inviting somebody back into, and now I still have to do a give and take. So I'm at that interesting little plane of damn, I want it, but fuck. I don't know. So yeah, wow, that's where I'm at.
Can't we just live next door to each other? Like that's how
Girl,
I feel.
listen. I seen that.
Nowhere.
Uh, I seen the on the TikTok because I swear.
I need to live with.
Listen,
You saw my group chat text. You saw the group
Yeah,
text. I was
listen,
like, can't we just next door to each other?
and after that, and I was reading the comments, and somebody said I seen the perfect saying. I want somebody forever, but will leave me alone, and that's it. I want you to be my person, but leave me alone, because yo, man, listen, yeah,
I feel like that was my 15 years. It was like a mutually spoken, but at times spoken. It was like adore the company, adore the time, spend more quality time than a lot of people that live together. But like when your time is done and you just want your alone time, like let's be okay to separate. Like go home. Please go home now. I know that sounds bad, but then I was like, well, maybe if the person lives next door, at least I still know what they're doing and they know what I'm doing, right? I don't know.
yeah,
That's where I
listen.
be sometimes.
I definitely understand because I just told George that like I don't know like what do I do with that? Hey chatties. Thank y'all for joining us on another great episode of What the Group Chat Say. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Follow us on all things social, and we'll see you on the next episode of What the Group Chat Say.